time to talk about what the Chaos Garden is the brand actually means. Like, what is that? How do I define it? How does it help me in my crazy ADHD, everywhere, all the time, everything is happening kind of life? First of all, I am Maya Gouliard, author and artist. I do all of the things. I like to do all of the things. I am trying to learn to not do all of the things and have some of the ADHD chaos kind of filtered. And what I have created is a chaos garden, and I've leaned into it because I love a good analogy. My garden, I was out there planting seeds and feeling like I would just plant this rose bush, and I learned that I love the cottage garden, the chaotic feeling of a cottage garden. I know they're a little more like trimmed and clean than my chaos garden is, but my chaos garden is beautiful. I have rose bushes that I've worked really hard on, like planting and putting effort into for a little bit of time, and then I have sunflowers that are growing because my husband gives the birds too many bird seed, and I have just random, weeds that look pretty, and embracing all of it. So taking that into my own life and how I create and do all of the creative things and all of the entrepreneurial fun stuff, I've embraced that all of those things come together to me. And I think a lot of us creatives run into this a lot, right? It's like we're told to fit into a lane, pick a lane. But I love drawing cartoons in Procreate. I love sewing zipper pouches. I love writing my books, my fantasy series. I love playing in Canva and creating flyers, like all of these things. I love making beaded earrings, even though I don't have pierced ears. All of these things are real endeavors. They're still me. They're still part of my whole creative life. And fitting all of that together into my chaos garden is beautiful. My garden is beautiful because of all of those different things. And when I was like, oh, well, I need to be a professional author, this is the thing. Or instead of making all these different things, I should really streamline what I make. These are the things. Or this is, just make bookmarks, make a lot of bookmarks and make them the same. And I just don't do that. It doesn't fit who I am or how I do anything. It doesn't work. And I know I'm not alone. So if you're listening to this, you're probably like me. So my chaos garden all comes down to permission for play, for permission and encouragement to have fun, create, and enjoy it. And that you don't have to be perfect at something, and you don't have to have been doing it for a very long time. I am 52, and I didn't even know I was gonna write a book until the idea wouldn't leave me alone. So 48 years old is when I started writing the book. And there's no time date to say it's too late now, or that doesn't fit what you're doing. It's really about following your heart and following your excitement and following the fun. So that's what the Chaos brand is, the Chaos Garden is. And it's worked because now okay, Susu, our cat Susu is upset because John is downstairs making dinner and she doesn't like it when he's not around. So she's yelling for him. Anyway, back to my point. The Chaos Garden analogy has worked really well for me because what it shows me is all of my many things are flowers in my garden, right? Maybe my books are my roses. I spend a lot of time on them in spurts, in energy, but I sit down and I write the whole first draft, or I write 8 chapters in a week and then I don't do anything for a while. And then I edit in a big, that's how I do my roses. I go in and I spend a lot of time on them, and then I leave them alone for a long time and I come back and they look beautiful. And then maybe my sewing is gonna be the daisies in my garden, and they pop up and I work on them for a while, and all of it together works. I created this kind of analogy for social media because I do want to be a brand. I do want to, my entrepreneurial spirit just pushes me. I've owned a restaurant when I was 23. I owned a game store. I've had a lot of just, I like all of that part of it, the businessy side of it. So I've created this social media marketing chaos garden path, and all of these pieces fit in the path, right? So if I make a TikTok and I'm just reaching out into the void, shouting into the void, that's my garden gate. People are walking down the sidewalk and they see me at the garden gate, and they can open that gate and become a follower, and then they're walking down the path. And maybe YouTube and my newsletter are my garden path, and you're kind of finding out more about me, and you're here listening and learning and finding me and saying like, oh, you know, I'm getting something of value out of this, whether it's fun or you're a kindred spirit, or you want to do your own chaos garden, or you're, you know, an author or whatever. So you're in to find out more. You're walking down my garden path saying, oh, those are nice little flowers, you know, that's a nice thing you created there. And then I have the patio. The patio is my Discord. I have a Discord channel, I have a book club, and I have a paid newsletter on Substack. So if you are a little more invested and you're actually putting your time in, you're my Discord. And then I have in my living room, which is like my alpha readers, like the people who are really like, they're in it all the way, right? So if you, all of those things. And I realized I was spending this analogy fixed things for me because I was so invested on the garden gate. I was out there saying, yoo-hoo, TikTok, come find me, or, you know, creating Instagram posts that like are quotes from my book or whatever, and I was really putting so much energy into that, and then seeing like 300 people see one, or on Instagram it's like 10 people saw that, you know, it's like, oh, well, okay, glad I made that, you know. But what happened is all of that was slowly building. I have 4,200 people who follow me on TikTok. That's not small, that's hard work. I've done something there. But all of that energy was at the garden gate, and I want my energy to be invested on my patio. I want my energy to be where I'm really interacting with people, where the people who have found me out in the world are coming and we're connecting. So the garden analogy, the chaos garden social media analogy has really clicked for me, and it's helping me kind of sort through and be like, okay, here's where I want to invest. Where do I want to water? What do I want to take care of? My chaos garden outside, my literal garden, is beautiful because it's so chaotic. It's got a lot of birds and stray cats, and at night we have a skunk that comes sometimes, and, you know, possums, and, you know, all of that, so that like it's thriving. It's got my rose bushes, it's got some vines that I plant, some morning glories, which I know people don't like them, but I love them. I love how they pop open in the morning. And then, you know, the sunflowers and just all of the stuff. And I want my life to be that way too. So there you go, updating. I am still writing Echoweaver book 3 in the Chroma series. I am working on right now piecing together some scraps. So I have this stack. I'm gonna make a big piece and then cut it to size to make some zipper pouches and stuff. And then I have these really cool fabrics that I'm making into fabric. I'm quilting some pieces that I will then make into zipper pouches or whatever it is I feel like sewing. So that is what I felt like talking about today. And I'm gonna really try to get out here and be present more often on my garden path. And if you're interested, follow along, go ahead and follow my Substack. And if you really want to, join the Discord.